Hamburger was 3 or 4 pounds for a dime. Lard was 2 pounds, 2, 3 pounds for a nickel. Neck bones was 5 pounds.
Okay, Michael, come in here.
Okay, I'll come in a little bit, Mom, thank you.
What?
I'll be in there in a little bit.
Hope you'll get cold.
It'll be fine, thank you, Mother.
Well, if you open, take the paper up, I'll
Take
put
out
it
the
there.
paper, you can eat from there.
Okay, we'll take a minute break now. Who could describe your life in your early 20s? How would you describe it? What was the most important things that you did? How would, if somebody said, what were you in your early 20s? What would you say?
In the early 20s? Well, I would say the graduation. When I had graduated high school. The first car I got.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, the new car that I bought.
How are you? Oh, fine, too.
That was in the 20s.
I'm talking about your early 20s, from 1928 to 1933, before you were married.
That's what I'm talking about. That's when I got the cars. That's what I used to compute back and forth from Gary to Chicago. Then I would come to Chicago, get on the bus. They would take a huge bus, not a huge truck, line them up with chairs, benches like, you know. And I used to play the ukulele, and we used to sing all the way going towards the beach.
Oh, you know, I got you last.
Back to Ogden Dunes, which is past Gary, Indiana. I used to go with them, take the car in Chicago, and travel with them back on the truck, because that's where the fun was. We used to sing and dance and carry on very well, boys and girls, and the truck towards the beach.
Those were the Depression days. Do you remember anything, how the financial depression affected people other than financially?
Well, there were an awful lot of people out of work, and then well, I was fortunate enough that I got a job at $15 a week as a butcher shop, as a working for a butcher shop. Then after a while, Paul started out on that peddling business. I made a lot more. As a matter of fact, I made more to buy another car. And most of the time, I just got enough to get by with.
Before you married Mother, you had a very brief marriage. How old were you at that time?
Let's see. About 21.
Do you remember how you met this, your first wife?
Yes. We met her on a picnic. I met her on a picnic. And her father was a rabbi, very religious. And we spent all night out together. And the next morning before I went back, I decided to get married. I went to the city hall in Chicago. And we both took marriage rights and got married to justice of peace. Because we knew that their father would agree to it, and my folks would agree to it.
Well, her father was a rabbi, so
Yeah.
you were not good enough for her. Is that
That's
it? You
right.
were just
I was a plain Protestant Yavon.
what does that mean?
That means a Yavon, that's a Gentile name for ignoramus. And
So you were not a yeshiva bucker.
no. And I made a mistake and gave my address
progress?
at home in
Right.
Chicago,
She said, I knew
and she
that.
gave it also to her house.
She said, if I knew what I was going
And
to.
after
Terrible.
I went to Gary right away, she went home.
That's
Here I was going to study with a girl in Gary,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Oh. Yeah.
at that time the advertising, they went out to congratulate the groom and bride. They sent a letter to her house. They sent a letter to my house that congratulated us that we were married. That's how they first found out. Well, that when the shit hit the fan, and it started. She couldn't see me, I couldn't see her,
She's moving in Tuesday.
and we couldn't see each other. And to make a long story short, the marriage was annulled.
Well, who kept you from seeing her? Her folks and your
Yeah.
folks?
My folks, my folks. Neither one were pleased. The marriage was annulled.
Well, why were your folks displeased? After all, getting rid of a son-in-law, I mean,
No,
a son.
I was the only son, and they wanted to have a regular wedding.
Well, you could still have a wedding.
No, they weren't pleased. They weren't pleased with them, just as much as Zoltans weren't pleased with them. That's how much my folks weren't pleased with the Zoltans.
No, the Zoltans, that was the bride's parents,
That's right.
and her father's name was
He was a rabbi.
Rabbi Zoltan.
Zoltan.
Did you know her father?
Oh yeah, I knew her father, his sister, I knew them all. But they didn't figure that we were gonna do a thing like that, but we did. And that was it, that we didn't see each other after that until last year.
Last year? So you were 21 years old when this happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And last year you saw your first wife for the first time since then? What was that situation?
Mother and I, we went over to Desert Hot Springs. And we registered over at the Ponce de Leon. While we were there, I bumped into Max couple, which he was one of my old-time boyfriends that I know from Chicago yet. I met him here a couple of times. He was one of the big bullshitters. But anyway, he recognized me, I recognized him. We started to talk. And as a matter of fact, we got into the hot whirlpool. Mother didn't go in, but I was there, and the three of us talked. So he started to talk, mentioned Margie. Remember Margie's old time? I said, well, I should. I cared for her to marry her. She was a bum. She was dead. I said, Max, that place. I said, please, cut it out. I said, she was no bum. She was a good girl. I loved her, and I married her for her. And if you can't say anything nice about her, don't say anything at all. One thing led to another. So then, of course, his first wife died, I know. Then he married this one. Well, she lived over in, this one lived in Florida now.
You mean
Marge,
Max?
yeah, Max. Max lived out here, but Margie lived in Florida. She married another fellow and had 4 children with him in Florida. The father moved out to Israel. They passed away over there. she lived in Florida, and her husband passed away. And Max is the one that also knew her. They all knew her. He brought her back to Los Angeles. And then we were talking. He started, I said, please don't, don't. He says, well, would you recognize her if I see her? I says, I don't know. She was thin, fair, skinny. She was a pretty good looking girl. She says, well, I want you to meet Margie. She's my wife now. I said, you're kidding. So she says, Sid, yes. I'm married to Max. I recognize you, but you didn't recognize me. I did. She got fat, you know, and sloppy looking, you know, Jewish, yente. And then I introduced mother to her. I said, this is Margie. It's the first time I've seen her in 50-some odd years. First time.
So how did it feel? Seeing her after 50 years.
Enough of that girl. I looked at her. I kind of was disappointed. I didn't expect her to turn out big plans. Stuff like that. Of course, she had 4 children. She had grandchildren. I said, so have I. Sally was there. I was very happy that I was married to Sally. I was very happy I was married to your mother and to have her. And her sister, she was telling me about, we had a nice discussion, we had a nice talk because we circled, you know, we were in the same circle all along.
That's very nice. Now, how long was it after that that you met Sally?
Well, that was in 31.
Well, you were 21 at the time you married Margie?
Yeah.
That was 1929 then. Because you were born in 1908. It was 1929, so it was
Right,
1931
yeah.
that you met Sally?
Yeah. No, right after, no, I met Sally and after that. And I came back to Chicago. Yeah, it happened at that time. And then we didn't see each other. I never saw her after that. And then I met, then I took sick with the tularemia. After that, I was in the hospital. And I got out of the hospital and went to work. That's when I met Margie. And from Margie I met Sally. And that's the way it went on.
You mentioned that when you were living in Chicago, you had some differences with, not Chicago, Gary, you had some differences with your Uncle David. Remember what those differences were?
Well, the difference was that, like any other teenagers, I wanted more time off, and he couldn't see the idea that I went ahead and spent money on a car, bought a car, you know, especially bought one car, and then Uncle Hank traded his car in for an Olds. He never paid me the money. Then later on I bought the other car. And just all in all, he had a mistrust on me. And he showed a mistrust that he trusted the girl more than he trusted me. You know, the girl that worked in there, that he told her to keep track on me, to report whatever I do. And the girl liked me, and she told me about it. And the fact that I started to eat too much in the store. I said, well, eat too much in the store. I'll take an hour off and go off and eat in the restaurant. Or treat for a dime or 15 cents. That time they had these White Castle hamburger joints. Where I go in, there was a nickel for the hamburger. With onions, tomatoes, everything, a nickel piece. So I would order 2 or 3 pieces of hamburger and a cup of coffee for 20 cents. I thought, wow, we're up to here. He thought I was eating too much at the store, so I used to spend 20 cents to go out to meet. Then he took a couple of trips, and in other words, he put the girl in charge of it. You know, the girl is supposed to watch me. I didn't say anything. It didn't bother. Of course, it bothered me for a while. What the hell? Well, I'll do my share of business and that's it. Meantime, she got disgusted to the girl. Jimmy Rod went to business that time. He worked for his brother, then he went Jimmy went to work for his brother. Became a manager at that store. Jimmy needed a girl. So I says to Jimmy, I says, the girl that works for us isn't satisfied. I says, maybe you can hire her. So I told the girl about Jimmy. She went down there and sure enough, they offered her more wages or something. Anyway, she came and told me that she accepted the job. That she's going to give him notice that she's going to leave. It's up to you. Well, it took her, she didn't give him notice next week, but the next month, the following month, she went and told Uncle, I'm not coming in Monday, I'm going to work for Jimmy. Aren't you satisfied? Yeah, but I like Jimmy's offer better.
I
I
thought
let
you
her work.
said that.
Good. I liked his offer better, and I'm going to work for him. My uncle came back and said, what do you think of what to do? I said, what do you mean, what I think of her? She's the boss. You told her to watch over me. You trusted her. You didn't trust me, you trusted her. Evidently, she didn't like it. I said, did you know that she was going to go? I said, yes, I know about it a month ago. She said, why did you tell me? I said, why should I tell you? She's supposed to tell you. She was your right-hand woman. She's the one who told me what to do, who kept an eye on me. Why should she come and tell you? That's we started the problem. After that. Then I lost my finger there.
No, you're talking about the, that your...
Grinder,
your,
I never got paid for that week. He paid the doctor, I think.
Okay, what happened?
I was cleaning the grinder, and it got stuck. The grinder wouldn't come out, so I stuck my finger to push it. At the same time as I lift my knees up accidentally to give more leverage to my finger to push the grinder out, I touched the switch, and the switch took it right off.
Okay, and so, remember what day of the week that was?
Saturday.
Saturday, it was Saturday night?
Yeah.
You're cleaning the grinder for the
Right.
weekend then. The store was closed on Sunday?
No, it was over.
Okay, but you were cleaning it Saturday night.
Yeah.
And you lost that. Do you remember what hospital or doctor you went to?
He just took me to one of those Schwartz doctors and they sewed it up and they didn't go down. Just sewed it up to me, sealed it, and that's it.
Say Schwartz a doctor. Was the doctor black?
I think so, I don't remember. Just sewed it up, it hurted like hell. Because the whole thing was off, you know, and he sewed it up. And I came home Sunday, and I told him what happened. He said, what are you making such a thing out of it? He said, you're not going to work tomorrow. I said, why not? Well, you lost your finger. You won't let me go to work.
Who's that, your folks?
Yeah.
So you stayed home all week?
I don't know if I stayed up all weekend. I lost my job account of that too.
Oh, Dave fired you over
Yeah,
there?
yeah, he wouldn't give me the job anymore.
Because you didn't come back on Monday.
That's right.
So what was the relationship between your folks and Dave over that?
Well, for a while it wasn't so pleasant. Uncle Dave was always a big sport with somebody else's money. It happened so that, of course, he always tried to act big, rich, big, you know. But when it came for the family, he was always good with advice. It happened so that my folks were moving, or had a fire, they had to remodel the business. They needed a few dollars. How they got to Uncle to tell him about it, I don't know. But I do know that Uncle went to Ashkovich, the one who used to be a boarder, and Ashkovich happened to marry Tante Matilda's younger sister. Tante Matilda's younger sister had come out from Europe with the idea to marry Hershkovich. That's the only way they would let her in. And he married her. And they had, I think, 2 or 3 children. And Hershkovich was a tailor. So I remember he came up to Hershkovich and said, Hershkovich, you need X amount of dollars for you to give to my sister, Tante Linka. He said, I'll guarantee it. Hershkovich says, who will guarantee you? He was a rich man.
I'll get it.
I said, I'll guarantee
All right, I'll just.
Tante Linka, but who will guarantee you?
Okay.
You gonna guarantee for
I don't
Lincoln?
know. Right now they home, I don't know later. Why?
I don't want, he says, Tante will have to guarantee for
Okay,
you.
at the time.
Your guarantee I don't accept. I'll give
No, I don't need to.
But I want you to think that I'm doing it because you tell me to.
I didn't have to bring it today.
So it happened so
Which
that
one do you have? More? Which one do you
Hashwich
have?
did give Mother the money. And she didn't need it. She
What?
ran the she rebuilt the business.
Okay, fine.
And he also fell out with Uncle account of that too. Uncle a big shot, he was guaranteeing, but when it comes to dish out the money, it wasn't there. As a matter of fact, when he went back from here to Gary, first when he brought his son out, Jerry,
Jerry Bain?
yeah, he brought him to LA. He had money invested in Imperial Hospital. That's on Imperial Boulevard. And he got quite a bit from the family to invest money in there. How much money he had altogether from the family and all, but they were paying a very good interest. And they were going to build onto it. They were going to build a pharmacist. He brought out Jerry with the idea that Jolly will be the manager of the pharmacist, of the pharmacy, because he was one of the big investors in that project. He had a few buildings here. He made money right away in the property, Uncle. And here, made property. That's where he made his money. Well, when Jerry came out here and he fixed an apartment and so forth, they met and all of a sudden they decided that Jerry was not, the board decided Jerry was not fit enough to be the manager of the pharmacy. They had a better man for it. that's the case I'm withdrawing from the project. I want all my money back. My back. Okay, Mr. Bank, we'll find somebody to replace you. And he did. They replaced, gave him his money back, he gave my money back, everybody got their money back. He had no trouble getting somebody else in there. And those people who did make investment in there, not only tripled, quartered, went 20 times the amount went up the value. He was looking around to buy another business for Jerry. So I remember he was looking around for another place like I did. I was making it pretty good. I said, there's one place I know on Imperial and Prairie. You know where it is, Prairie?
Yes, I know where Imperial
Yeah.
is.
There was a lot over there on that corner. As a matter of fact, Danny Sanchez, I don't remember Danny Sanchez?
I remember Denny.
Danny Sanchez and I, we built that drive-in. We built that. We became a partners in the drive-in.
I remember that very well.
All right. And after a month or two, Danny was doing so good, and he says, Sid, he says, I'll pay you double what your investment was. I'll pay you off. I says, fine. My investment was $5,000, he gave me 10. Then he wanted to sell it. Uncle Dave came up to me and said, Sid, what do you think of this drive-in? I said, well, I was working there, but Danny paid me out double the amount within a short time. Evidently, he's doing very good. He says, if I buy it, will it be enough to make Jerry and I partners in there? So we can both draw the same amount? I says, I haven't been there long enough to draw anything. I just got double the amount back in a short time. I says, I don't know. If you're buying it for him, I said, buy it to him and let him make a living at it. If he makes enough of it, he'll pay you back. But you go in a partners right